Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
And people were like, yo, like, why wouldn't you include Rudy? What the hell's wrong with you? Rudy is not a good sports film. And to be honest with you, I don't think there's a single, like, really solid golf film while relating it to golf. There really isn't, like, a incredible golf film, except for, like...
You're kidding me, right?
I think Caddyshack was good. It wasn't great. It's funny.
You're kidding me, right?
The Greatest Game Ever Played is good. It isn't amazing.
With Francis Ouimet?
Yes, Francis Ouimet, played by
Joking.
Shia LaBeouf.
You're joking.
You know what? That movie got worse because of the fact that Shia LaBeouf, like, all this shit that came out. I think, like, just like himself kind of diminished all of his, like, credibility.
That's why it's a movie and they're acting.
Yes, but I'm saying the guy himself. Like, I think Tin Cup was good too. My namesake.
You cannot. Anybody that says Tin Cup is better than the Greatest Game.
No, I think the best sports film, like the best golf movie among the bunch, in order, it's Caddyshack, Greatest Game, and Tin Cup. Like, of the three.
I've actually never seen Caddyshack.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's one of those things it's dumb comedy because Rodney Dangerfield's just hilarious, but like I wouldn't put Caddyshack in the same area of like Remember the Titans and The Sandlot or Moneyball.
Invincible, that's a good one.
Invincible's a really good movie.
I cry all the time. The Blind Side, that's another good one. I cry every single time for that movie.
You know, The Blind Side's really good, but I actually read an article like after the fact, and like Michael Orr actually critiqued the movie a lot and said like it wasn't like very like accurate at all. In which case, like I kind of got a little bit of like I got kind of upset about it because yeah, it's a good story, but if the actual person itself is like denying the actual existence of the film, then I'm gonna like credit it a little differently. I still think, though, that, like, Remember the Titans is probably the best sports movie of all time.
I don't know. Miracle's up there, man.
Miracle's a Final Four. It's Miracle, The Sandlot, Remember the Titans, and...
Field of Dreams. That's a good one.
All right, Field of Dreams is good.
Watch that.
We do.
I don't know. But is Field of Dreams, though, top four? I don't know.
No.
I don't think.
I think it's pretty good, but I haven't seen a lot of the sports movies, so I'm not the best judge.
Like sports movies they're just so feel good. I feel like you gotta watch.
They make you cry.
Some have. I wouldn't say all. Hold on. I gotta find this bracket that I made now because I'm curious of what I ranked the best was. Oh God, we're like really getting off tangent here. Then again, we haven't even done the intro yet, so you know what? Fuck it. Let's just run the intro and I'll figure it out as we go. I'm taking a short break and then KB will jump right in here. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Get in the Hole podcast. Steve McAvoy, Ben Pirro, and Sophia Warren joining us on the desk this week. I found out that fourth movie, and I'm going to sound like a total homer for saying this. I think Fever Pitch is one of the best films of all time.
What?
And it's what?
What is it?
Fever Pitch.
Never heard of it.
Never seen it.
Oh my God! All right, it's a rom-com with Fallon and Drew Barrymore, and she's a businesswoman. He's a math teacher, and he loves the Red Sox, and he like takes her on this adventure as like a Red Sox fan, and like she breaks up with him because he's too in love with sports, but she realizes that like sports is like his one passion in life, and it all takes place during the 2004 Red Sox World Series run. It certainly isn't a top 4 movie overall. Probably like Friday Night Lights is, but as a personal favorite, that's one of my heroes. But welcome in, guys. How are we? Despite my my audio issues,
We're great,
We're
considering that
good.
you stunk up the joint for the first 23 and a half minutes.
I feel like I always kind of stink up the joint when you think about it.
You do, but
Like,
you know
like
what?
it's always on me.
It is. But you know what? We still love you. You're still a fantastic host, and just even though it took you a really, 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 really long time to get it together,
You got it together.
you got it together. We're proud of you for that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And to give Sophia a shout out because you also shoot the pooch a little bit. Sophia won your matchup today, so very proud of her. With finally getting that elusive first win, very important for the brand.
Whoa, 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 whoa! That is not what happened. Okay, first of all,
Let's
okay.
break it down.
These were practice challenges. So we had like wedge contests, chipping contests. We played a match yesterday where Ben was victorious.
So, for anybody out there who ever follows either one of
Our
our
millions of fans.
our millions of fans,
Jinx. We got a contest going about that too.
Anyway, so what happened was we started making this challenge where we would play each other for 18 holes, and whoever lost, the winner would literally interview the loser.
Yeah.
For like about a minute. We would make it into like Instagram reel or whatever. And before I'd gone back to Long Island for the Long Island Open, before I'd gone to the Dakotas, we had made 4 videos, basically. I had won all of the matches. I was 4-0. And so I was the interviewer. I was the interviewer.
If you are. All right.
And I had several people came up to us on the putting green at the Long Island Open. They were like, oh my God, like we love your videos. Like they're absolutely hilarious. And so this summer we didn't get to do any because we weren't, I was in South Dakota and
we were so far away.
We were so far away. And then when we got back, we ended up trying to get right back into it. Well, because the weather down here has been so bad and always storms in the early afternoon, the first match we got 15 holes and we couldn't finish because of lightning and rain. And then so going into the second match, we were like, okay, well, we're just going to make those holes that we didn't finish. Whatever we get on those holes for this second round, that's what we'll pencil in for those holes. So it'll basically be like
2 matches in one.
2 matches in one. Well, then the same thing happened with the weather. And so we finally got to finish yesterday. And so it's basically like 1 match for all 3. And your boy came out on top for a grand total of 7-0.
I don't want to sound like that guy, but this sounds like a illegitimate win.
What?
Illegitimate win.
How's that an illegitimate win?
It was fair and square.
Was it?
How is that? How is that not fair and square?
No. I'm saying Sophia touting herself as the winner. It's an illegitimate win on her end.
I won today when we did our wedge contest, chipping contest. I just didn't win on the course. Yes.
No. I need a full 18 holes.
That's a big ask, Steven. I'm trying.
I'm really good.
Now hold on, wait. All right. There's a big debate in golf when they do like co-ed tournaments and events that because obviously the men hit it further, should the women play the forward tees? Sophia, do you play the forward tees or do you guys play the same box?
So if Ben plays the tips, which is all the way back, we'll leave like a tee box between us and then I'll play the next one up.
Okay.
So I like the men's tees, like the regular men's tees, or like one back from the men's tees.
And I would say I have a scorecard here. I think I had it somewhere.
Like the LPGA tour doesn't play like the ladies' tees yardage.
Yeah.
A club will play.
So she's playing like 6,300 yards, which is pretty much what the LPGA plays, right? Yeah, and I'm playing 7,100 yards, that's like normal.
All right, so like at least like I wouldn't say it's that big of an ask considering you're playing both to your standards.
No,
Or-
I actually did have this last match. I was leading after the 8th hole.
She was 1-up.
I was 1-up.
She was 1-up.
And then
what happened?
On 9 and 10,
Should
then
I tell? Should I tell what happened?
go for it.
Tell me everything. I want to hear it.
I had a beautiful wedge shot from about 99 yards at 104 yards at number 9 to about 6 feet. Drained that one. Tie it up all through 9. And then the next hole, I had a hit pitching wedge out of the fairway bunker to about 3 feet. Made that one bird. And then 16 was the dagger.
Yeah.
Wow, you are so full of yourself. I hate you.
I didn't play bad. I just didn't play well enough to beat Ben. He played better.
Okay, so
That's
like,
a statement.
No, you played great.
Yeah.
You played great.
all right, so like it was even. It's just a few small tweaks, and then you'll eventually.
Yeah. We're right there. We're right there.
I will say, sorry to cut you off. It's really cool. And I think like anybody who plays golf, regardless, like watching the changes and the improvements that she has made since the last time we played together in New York, which was in like early June, to like early-ish September. Was that the first time we played? Yeah. It's like early September. Like the changes, just like in her swing, the ball flight, it's like pretty incredible. And
Aw.
so, like, I know, like, I'm sure everybody thinks, like, wow, Ben's, like, such, like, a pompous jerk. Like, he's, like, actually such a jerk. Like, oh, my God, this guy's, like, so full of himself. Oh, he's, like, what a douche. Like,
I mean, you kind of are.
I kind of am. It's true. But in all seriousness, though, it's really cool to see how someone like you has, like, really improved over, 3 months or so? That's very cool to see. Because for me, like just watching from a distance, it's really cool to see those changes. Because that not only shows that she's working hard, but like what she's doing is like working, like it's what she's doing is helping her golf game.
Yeah.
I will say, as I practiced all summer, I would be like, all right, this putt's to beat Ben. These chips, we're gonna have chipping contests. I gotta work on my chipping.
Yeah.
Like everything was tied into our couples contests.
I mean, like eventually it'll happen, and I don't know if there are many.
When it does, it will be worth the wait.
From what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, there aren't many like golf power couples.
No.
No. So it's interesting how you two are obviously together. So it's kind of it makes sense that Sophia's growing while you're growing and like feeding off each other. Like in terms of like both your development, is there things that like you guys take from each other on the course or even off the course to kind of like grow your own game?
Ben's definitely inspired me to be like a hard worker. I've always been a super driven and hardworking person, but like watching the hours and hours that he puts into practice, like I always feel like I should match that or like do even more. So I'm always pushing myself to like keep up with him. And he also hits bombs, so I always try to hit it harder when I play with him.
What is he, Phil?
No.
Phil was he was Ben.
I'm way better. I'm
You're much better looking.
Thank God. Thank goodness.
You have better hair.
Thank God.
Hey, whoa, hey, look, despite him being an a-hole, Phil has some pretty nice hair.
No, he doesn't.
No, he's so bald.
He probably used like Rogaine or something.
Sorry, but back in the day, he had nice hair.
Yeah, but I will say like one thing that I really we really do like feed off each other. We always focus on our attitudes. Like playing pro golf is really difficult. Like being a professional in anything is really hard, and it's easy to get down on yourself because like I can't really speak for like women's golf because I don't know it. I don't know like the mini tour stuff as well, obviously as you, but like for men's, like if you shoot 72, you're not making money and you're just like throwing money away. And it's really easy to like, and the 72 is a good score. It is that's a good score. That's a solid round.
Yeah, it's par. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but it's really easy like to sit there and just like beat yourself up and then over time just get negative because you're like, damn it, like I only cashed in like, 2 out of my last 4 events, it's like, it's really easy to get negative. And like one thing I told her to start doing was like, cause like my attitude can sometimes honestly like suffer. It's true.
It's fiery.
I do get a little bit fiery. And but I said to her, hey, when my attitude starts to go south, like I need you to just say, hey, attitude, like remember what we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Adorable. I love it.
One thing we did as a game, as a couple, is we'll be like, after every shot, you have to say something positive, whether that's like it went forward. Oh, I really felt like my tempo was good. Like it can be simple, it can be complex, but something positive after every shot. And something I started doing even while we were apart in the summer, like during tournaments after every shot, I would say, just to kind of keep myself like in the moment and focused and positive. And it really does make a difference. And that was Ben's idea to start doing.
I'm gonna have to start picking up on some of your things. I started a little bit playing like meditation music like 20 minutes before my rounds, and it has helped a little bit. I brought my handicap down from like a 20 to like a. I think I finished the summer at like a 15, 16. I also haven't swung a club in like a month and a half, so God knows what I'm going to shoot tomorrow when I go play. But we'll see how that one rolls out. But here we are. We love the power couple. Welcome on in Sophia to the show as Ben goes rogue for a hot second. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of different things. Despite us not having a PGA Tour season quite yet, we will in about 4 days, which is ridiculous to think about. We had some European Tour action, and we had plenty of action on the golf course, and a lot of words flung and a lot of harsh things said, and one guy even taking a little trip down to Texas to soak up the sun. And we're going to start off with Shane Lowry winning the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth this past weekend. Said he won it for the good guys, the bad guys, meaning the live players. What do we think of what Shane Lowry said and how really the whole week kind of played out? We're going to talk more about the words that were exchanged between the PGA and the live tour. But what do we think initially of Shane Lowry's comments for the good guys?
All right, so here's the deal. I'm really getting sick and tired of like people looking. I'm sick and tired of like just the verbal assaults that are going on. I think it's so stupid and I think it's so petty. It's like, Shane, congratulations. Like I think it's great. Like, congratulations, Shane. You won. Great playing. Very prestigious tournament. Like today's like supposed to be about you. Like golf has always been an individual sport, unless it's like Ryder Cup or President's Cup. Today's supposed to be about you. Why are you turning such a great day into something that is negative and something that's taking away from like a shining moment that you earned, you know? And I don't know. It's like, trust me, I'm not a fan of like a lot of the guys on live. I've been very critical of a lot of them in the past. I mean, I hate Graham McDowell. There you go. I said, sue me. I hate Patrick Reed. Sue me. Like
Sergio.
Oh, we're gonna roast Sergio.
We were gonna demolish Sergio Garcia in about 10 minutes.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, why are you taking away from such a special day and such a really? I mean, it was such a sad week too. I mean, the Queen of England died. I know he's not from England. I get it, but still, like, that's so sad. And like, to make it about something so negative, it's like, why? Like, why? I just don't. I just don't understand.
I will say, not necessarily on the comments about his win, but Lowry went bogey free for the entire tournament, which, even though it was only 54 holes, that is so hard to do. Like, he definitely deserved the win.
Yeah. No, like, it's Ben, you're right. I hate the whole back and forth, and in literally 2 minutes we're going to talk about what Rory said, but like, a lot of this has kind of just become petty.
I was just about to say that.
Like, I totally get it. You break away from the tour, you want the money. Look, at the end of the day, and you and I have said it, if I was offered $200 million to golf and do nothing, I would 1,000% take it. I'm not good enough, even if I were a pro, to be anywhere close to the guys like within the top 25 in the world. And really, when you think about it, any guy who's outside of that number, you can look at the world earnings. You make $200 million, you're making more than Tiger Woods made his entire career. Like, I get it. The years are different. And when he won 15 events in all 4 majors, he did it in 2001 when the average purse was like $1.5 million. Still, like, the fact that I can make $200 million plus, or even like Cameron Smith now, that he turned down $300 million. I can only imagine what Cam Smith made. It's stuff like that where you're going to go, and it's literally petty to be saying, oh, like, good guys versus bad guys, because even like what Rory said, and we might as well just like jump right into it. His comments basically saying that his relationships were strained with guys on the Live Tour. Again, it's petty. It just shows that maybe he thinks about it a little differently, but Justin Thomas said, hey, him and DJ are still boys. Him and Brooks still talk. Like a lot of these guys still are friendly. Even Tiger Woods has said one of his best friends is Dustin Johnson. And he said, hey, like I will talk to him whenever it comes up. DJ's texted Tiger Woods and he said, yeah, like I've talked to him. Do I not like what he's doing? Yeah, of course. But at the same time, it's bullshit, really, at the end of the day. With that being said, we're going to jump into Rory's comments. We're playing a little game of Wordle. It's Wordle, but it's about Rory McIlroy. And again, we start with Rory McIlroy. Kids, based on Rory McIlroy's comments about the Live defectors straining his relationships, what do we think? Rory's comments on the Live defectors are blank.
Stupid.
Lame.
Do we have explanations why?
Okay. Do we go first?
Let's chat.
I know you said you wanted me to use SAT words, but to be honest, I wanted to give you just like my raw reaction to it. That I felt that was much more authentic and real. I just think it's stupid. And I'm just going to go back to kind of what I said. Why are we still talking about this? And that's honestly that's really up to Rory. Like that's more of a Rory thing. The fact that his relationships with those players have been strained. Maybe his relationships with them wouldn't be so strained if he hadn't said all those things about Greg Norman when he won the RBC Canadian Open.
Yep.
Maybe I think that's a fair statement. I mean, damn, like if one of my best friends was like, oh, I hate what they're doing, and I think like those guys are like such sellouts, and I'd be like, oh, so like I guess I've just been like nothing to you like this whole time. Like I guess like we never really were friends.
Exactly.
That's kind of the vibe I would get, and so I think they're stupid, plain and simple.
I would say lame because it's like we keep talking about it, but they're almost like it's almost like a pillow fight. The way it's all just verbal. Like I don't know if you guys saw the video of like Billy Horschel and Ian Poulter coming up on the putting green and like exchanging words and looked really heated. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, they're getting into a fight!" Like baseball, football, hockey, they have real fights. Like if you guys are gonna be this petty and this rude to each other, I'd rather almost just see like a fist fight break out on the golf course and then be done with it.
Honestly, to say that golf is too gentlemanlike for that happen. Although I must say it was pretty cordial. They were kind of like very relaxed. It was like Billy Horschel Billy Horschel reminds me of like the ultimate dad. It looked like he was giving Ian a stern talking to.
Yes, absolutely.
Look, I understand your point, but you're wrong, and it's like a stern like principle kind of look. But based on what Billy Horschel and John Rahm both said, Rahm and Horschel both came out, were talking a lot about specific guys on the Live Tour, and particularly for Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter. From Billy Horschel's point, he said that they are pretty hypocritical in their idea that they wanted to come out and play this week. Rahm and Horschel are blank for calling out the Live players on their own issues.
Bandwagoners, because they're trying to ride the coattails of the Rorys and the JTs who stood up for the PGA Tour first and got all the accolades and are now the heroes of the PGA Tour. They want some of that action.
Ben?
This is a tough one for me. I would say I'm not going to say late to the party because they're not. Rahm did make a statement earlier in the season. I don't remember which event it was, but he did say how he and his wife, their lives wouldn't change whether he did live or didn't do live. God, I just want to say it's so stupid. I mean, it's all. It's just. I'm sorry. It's all so stupid. It is.
I think their comments were really.
That's my answer. It's tired. That's what it is.
I think they were very on the nose. The comments were they made sense, and for Billy Horschel, I think it's a bit of a different story because he's been very much on the offensive with this. But even like John Rahm, he said this in June. He was like, "Look, I see the appeal of why everyone wants to go to Live. It makes sense why everyone's going." And so at least John Rahm like acknowledged the whole thing. A lot of the guys who have called out the Live Tour. Rory, JT kind of alluded to the idea of like, oh yeah, like the money makes sense. But John Rahm's been the only guy who's been like, yeah, like I understand why everyone's going, and do I think it's wrong that they're doing these things? Absolutely. But his comment specifically concerning the idea that unless these guys have played in the event prior, why are they somehow coming back to play this? And the answer is very clear. They want to get official World Golf ranking points. They want to stay in the top. They want to be able to qualify for majors, which is why they're going to try and exploit the DP World Tour as much as they can, as well as like Patrick Reed playing in the Asian Tour. Their goal right now,
that's well within their rights to do, though.
What's that?
That's well within their rights as players to do so. Like, obviously, you want to play a major. If I was in their shoes, I'd be doing the exact same thing.
Well, but at the same time, though, when you think about it, the guys who have defected, who didn't play, for the most part, a lot of the guys who played this week are guys who wouldn't even really qualify for the major field anyways at this rate because of where they are in their career. They aren't racking up high enough finishes in order to really even qualify for it, unless they were on a significant exemption like the Sergios of the world. And I don't think anybody else among the older crowd kind of fits that area. But like Cameron Smith is now under exemption for 5 years for every major. He obviously isn't going to show up to play. So the guys who have not taken the opportunity to play it in years past, I don't think they should be there. I think the actual idea of the event, first of all, the DP World Tour had said they were going to side with the PGA Tour and they were going to ban players who defected. Didn't really do it. They were kind of stalemated by it. I don't know what really kind of stopped them, but for some reason they didn't pull the trigger. I think, again, it was totally on the nose, and it was correct for them to say, hey, they shouldn't really be here unless they were going to participate in years past. And while Horschel's a little bit over the top, I think Rahm was more than on the nose, as you could say, with this. Speaking of guys who played this week and promptly exited, it's time to roast Sergio Garcia. And Ben, I'm going to have you lead here. For those of you who don't know, Sergio Garcia played 18 holes. According to Reuters, I was reading an article from the European media because I wanted to get their point of view. The quote was, I believe, from Eamon Lynch. Sergio Garcia played 18 holes of indifferent golf and finished arse last. Literally was in the back of the boat, last place. And after 18 holes, he just left. No one knows where he went. Turns out he went to go join his wife, a alumnus of the University of Texas at Austin, at the Texas-Bama game and was caught sidelined. Did not give a reasoning for his withdrawal. Then, Sergio's withdrawal from Wentworth is blank.
I want to say on brand, but I heard someone on Golf Channel say that, so I'm sorry to whoever said that if I'm stealing your lingo. But it's true. It's very on brand. Look, I've never been a Sergio fan. I think he's the most petty, arrogant, pompous, just jerk. He's such a jerk. He really is. He has the ability. There are people in the world that when they walk into a room, they just completely screw up the mojo. He's one of those people. He is an absolute energy killer. He's a buzz killer. He's just, I've never been a fan of him. I've never been a fan of him. He's a child. That's what he is. And he tries to blame the media. Well, the media doesn't portray me. Dude, you're like in your 40s. Okay, your reputation is your reputation. When you've been in the field for so long, if you have a bad reputation after being in a field for 20-something years, that's on you. That's on you. And this just solidifies it yet again. So that's what I think.
I would say disappointing. Basically, touch on all the exact same things that Ben said. Like, it's just inexcusable any way you look at it, especially because him playing those 18 holes took away a spot from the first alternate, who is about 7 spots away from securing his card on the DP World Tour. He's this up-and-coming Spaniard. Looks extra bad that Sergio won't give him the helping hand when his career is basically over and this kid's career is just starting out. It's just a bad look all around.
There's a lot of words to describe it. It's self-serving. It's egotistical. It is self-righteous. And I think the biggest point here that we're missing is actually the fact that he did take away from someone else's spot. Especially now, European culture is really they're a lot more homey than us Americans. But culturally, it's actually very, very, very appropriate for someone of the same country, especially in Spain, where they're very family oriented, to be kind of like the older brother in the situation. So the fact that Sergio did that is douchey from the start. The worst part is that for years, a lot of people on the PGA Tour said that Sergio's kind of had the gold standard of what it is to be a good player and a good, I guess you could say, let's say, a gentleman on the golf course. But in the last 6 months, he has been the furthest thing from good, and gold standard has turned into basically just total rubbish, as the European media calls it. It's actually it's disappointing, really. The fact that he's now kind of fallen into this hole, and for someone, again, who I think he's like 51 years old now at this point, has lost all credibility on a tour where he was one of the greatest to ever play, has lost all credibility as a Ryder Cup captain, or who would have been a full-time Ryder Cup captain or coach, as somebody who has been respected in all international circles and has now just absolutely squandered it. It's embarrassing. And it's totally self-serving.
Yeah, and I only disagree with one thing you said there, so I'll just keep it short and sweet. He has really not represented himself or his brand well at all on the golf course. I mean, you can go back to I'm sure that there are so many YouTube videos out there of him. Like, there was one where he was like in his 20s, I think, and he hit a bad shot. He basically took his shoe off and threw. I think he might have thrown it. And it somehow, I'm not going to say threw it into the crowd, but it ended up in the crowd. Someone had to give it back to him. He's thrown his club in the water.
The bunker thing was the worst.
He's been doing stuff like that in the bunker since 2008 or 2009. He's done it multiple times. And then the most recent one, which was, I guess the second most recent one, which was at some PGA Tour event, he got a ruling that he didn't like it hasn't ever happened to anybody before that's played tournament golf. You've never gotten a bad ruling. I mean, Jesus, I've gotten bad rulings. He's like, I can't wait to leave this effing tour. It's he has literally, he's like Kyrie Irving. He has literally his image is the way that it is because of him. And he is so blind to the fact that it's his fault.
Yeah. We're going to find out.
If you don't want a bad ruling, don't hit it in a bush.
That's also true.
Also, I totally misread his quote when Eamon Lynch actually wrote his article. Just literally, it's a feature article just roasting him. He goes, however implausible it may seem now, once upon a time, Sergio Garcia enjoyed a reputation that was, if not quite the gold standard, then at least a couple of notches above junk status. Absolutely hilarious how now everyone is just demolishing him, and honestly for the right reasons. Shifting away from the a-holes of the LIV Tour while we debate the good and the bad, Ricky Fowler fired a swing coach, which means, of course, a lot of fun changes coming in the following years. He joined up now with Butch Harmon once again. Ricky Fowler firing a swing coach means what in 2023?
Improvement. I feel like going back to Butch is the right move. That was when he was working with Butch when he had top 5 in all 4 majors in one year, and he won the Players of the same year. It was his prime. It was his peak. And he's older now. He's married with a kid, but that doesn't mean that Butch can't help him out a bit. I mean, his swing has gotten way off plane. It's off the planet bad right now. So having Butch can't hurt.
Let's see. Honestly, I'm going to say this. He's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Ricky Fowler firing swing coach means he's going to become Comeback Player of the Year in 2023. I just want to know what was said in that conversation that he had with Butch, because number one, remember, Butch Harmon's actually retired. I don't believe does he go to tournaments now?
I don't know.
I don't think he goes to tournaments anymore.
The extent of Butch Harmon's golf career is now chiming in on mechanical issues on Golf Channel whenever he wants to. So
yeah,
it's
so I don't think he does I don't think he has the same schedule as a typical PGA Tour instructor. That being said, the other reason I would have loved to be a fly on the wall for that conversation is because I remember Butch kind of came out and kind of dogged Ricky's work ethic a couple of years ago, and it's something to do. I believe it was Butch, and it had something to do with him not working as hard, filming too many commercials, not being focused enough. So I want to know, like, what was, because that's hard to like go from someone who, I mean, that's like hard to hear from someone that you've been taught by for several years and you had great success with, and then to go back to them. Who knows? Like maybe they had like a heart talk, and maybe Butch said he was wrong for saying what he said. Who knows? But I truly believe Ricky Fowler is going to be comeback player of the year for sure.
So I found the article that you're like the time that you're referring to. So back in June of 2017, Butch Harmon said following an event in Wisconsin. Oh, hold on. All right. So this was after the U.S. Open. He had a opening round 65 in round one with the lead at the U.S. Open. But following the round, Butch told him, "You need to reach down, grab your ears, and get your head out of your you know what, and get back to work. You need to be a pro golfer, not a Kardashian." Love that. So, I think that this whole thing, we saw it happen with Rory last year. I think like halfway through, was it last year or might have been more recent actually. He fired his swing coach. He started to shake back to his old roots, and of course, what led was immense success from Rory, including obviously the Tour Championship win as well as 2 other wins on the year. I think we're going to see rectification, so a improvement beyond the masses. But I think in the beginning, it's going to be a really, really hard road back. Now you got to remember, this is I believe the last year he's on exemption for his tour card.
Yep.
He's literally on the precipice of getting cut. Every single putt he's going to be taking is going to be worth thousands. Like you guys say, golf's a mental game. He will be mentally flustered to the exponentially more than ever before. And it's going to be tough considering the path he's got to take back. Like you said, his golf game is literally on Mars. It's so off. Is it going to work immediately? Absolutely not. But at the same time, I think give him to March and we'll kind of see where he's like predicated to go. If he is at least somewhere in the top 150 of the FedEx Cup standings by March, I think we might very well see him break his way into the playoffs, get at least a couple top tens. If he can hopefully make the stride sooner, that'd be great. But I don't think comeback player of the year is at all out of the picture here. I think it's when you compare him to the rest of the competition, there really is no other guy who, if he can get his way back into the playoffs, he kind of is the guy to win it. So it totally does make sense for a guy like Ricky. But yeah, it's going to be real rectification, but it's going to be really challenging in terms of the initial shoot up. And at the very least, for now, he's currently slated to play 3 of the next 5 events. So we'll see how those in the early stages of Butch Part 2 kind of play out. Some President's Cup news. The rosters are submitted. We've already talked about how it's going to be just a routing for the Americans against the international squad. But we got to talk about some snubs. Kevin Kisner was selected for the presidential side as well as other players for the American side. And on the international team, some interesting names were selected. Do we have a possibly biggest roster snub? Who is it?
No, there are no roster. I kind of went to grain. I definitely went against the grain on this. The biggest roster snub at the President's Cup is no one. If you did not make the President's Cup team this year with all those people going to live both in the American and international side, you 1,000% did not deserve to be on either one of those teams. So no, there was not a single roster snub.
I second that.
Yeah, there was. If you are a fan of the American team, and I think it was Jason Sobel who wrote it, who said the biggest snub was Tom Hoagie. Get your head out of your ass. Do you know how bad you gotta be? I get it. He won the Amex or one of those. Oh, no, sorry, he won Pebble over Jordan Spieth. I get it. He won. How could you not take Kevin Kisner with Tom Hoagie.
Hold
It doesn't make sense to me why anybody would ever vie for anybody else aside from someone like Kevin Kisner, who's been rock solid his entire career, to represent this American side when like Tom Hoagie's there. What?
Well,
No.
The other thing is like Kevin Kisner is one of the best match play. Is one of the best Americans when it comes to playing match play. If that makes sense, he's incredible during match play. Like it's like
he loves it.
It's just like how could you not have him on the team? And everybody loves like if I was playing on a team, I'd be like, oh my god, Kiz is playing. Like, let's go. That's awesome.
Great for the locker room.
Absolutely.
I think it's comical that someone's actually like people are actually arguing it too, which is like kind of ridiculous, especially considering like the team they built. You had to have Cameron Young there. He was easily the rookie of the year this year. You had to have Max Homa. He's been on absolute fire the entire year. Most of the guys who aren't even ranked inside of the top 20 in the FedEx Cup standings who wound up making it. Like Colin Morikawa was a captain's pick. Like when on earth is he ever going to be one in the next 10 years when you really think about it? So
like people getting all butthurt about this, it's not going to matter. Like in the
no.
They could play without any captain's picks and make all 6 guys that qualified automatically play every single match. They would still wipe the floor with the national team.
And like again, the argument here is like Tom Hoagie, JT Poston, like Sahith Theegala doesn't really like compare in any way. And I can't tell you who would have been the next man up for the international team. I think this was probably the best grouping they could have possibly gotten for all of the guys who left. Like think about it, you're losing 4, maybe 5 top 50 players in the world. That's a pretty big drop off. So no shot. Speaking of President's Cup stuff, a little more predictions. Thank you guys for playing Rortal. Good times. President's Cup pairings. We heard some rumors this week from Mark Schlauback. What are we thinking about some guys who might be paired up? We know the Americans who have played before on Ryder Cup teams. What do we think some possible predictions are? Do we think we'll see a Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, that old photo from when they were like 7 years old to now sort of pairing the best friends?
Yeah, so I read that article and I have it pulled up right here. The Mark Schlauback of ESPN, he said, a quote, Jordan Spieth is playing with Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay with Xander Schauffele. I say those are pretty much shoo-ins.
Automatic.
I mean, Jordan and Justin, they're basically best friends. I believe Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, they're also very good friends, right?
Yeah, they were, and Patrick Cantlay got engaged.
Yeah.
A trip with them.
They were also partners when they won this year's Zurich Classic and shot, I think, a collective 58. Like something ridiculous. They were like they led from the jump, and I think they shot 10 under almost every single day. It was insane.
Yeah, and I would also add this. And this is all from the same article. Mark made a very good point. How Colin Morikawa can basically play with anybody, which is actually because of his demeanor, and he's the type of guy like you want to be in. Like if you have to have like a partner in golf, like that's who you want your partner to be.
Yeah.
Or someone like Kevin Kisner. I think it would be very interesting if you had at some point Justin Thomas and Kiz out there together. I think that would be.
Yeah.
I don't know why that just went dark. I think that would be so much fun to watch because Justin Thomas gets really into it, into it, and Kiz is like a big talker. So I think that would be really interesting.
I think a funny duo that we very well might see is Kiz and Cameron Young.
Ooh.
Kisner talks a lot. I don't think Cameron Young said a word the entire year he's been on the tour.
Sounds like,
which would be hilarious. I have no idea what his voice sounds like. I don't even really kind of care. He could say 3 words the entire time. Kevin Kisner will talk for him. I'm really interested in seeing who Tony Finau plays with because someone who's like very, very calm, very like mild mannered. Where he kind of fits, I think he's played in the past Ryder Cups with, I think Matt Kuchar, Harris English, and like Bryson. 3 very eclectic players.
I could see Tony and Morikawa going out.
I was just about to
that
say
would make a lot of sense. I think that would make sense. Billy Horschel would also make sense.
I would like to see Billy Horschel and Kevin Kisner.
Oh, that's a good one.
That'd be really good, actually.
That
It
would
would
be
be a Florida Gator and a Georgia Bulldogs. I don't know if that would really go, but
I mean, well, hold on. Considering this, the possibility right now of Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns, what used to be back in the day one of the best rivalries in all of sports with Texas and LSU in terms of Big 12 versus SEC. That, granted, it's been 10 years in the making, 20 years in the making, but two guys who are really good friends. I think they'll also be really good. Also, it'd be horrifying to play against Scotty Scheffler, the number one player in the world, and the best Bermuda grass putter on the planet, Sam Burns, playing on Bermuda grass the entire week. That would be like horrifying to go with. Also, Max Homa, where would he fit in all this?
I'll play with it. That'd be
last pairing I'll throw out is possibly Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth because they were teammates in college for like a semester before Jordan.
That'd be cool.
a year.
Yeah.
I wish Will Zalatoris didn't withdraw, in which case we could have seen a 3-year teammate duo of Cameron Young and Will Zalatoris.
Yeah,
They're roommates too.
Oh yeah, like there could have been a lot of like fun pairings. I think like the international side, they're very cut and dry for the most part because a lot of them are like you're from the same country, you'll play together. It's a lot of what we've seen in like the Zurich Classic and other team style events back when Joaquin Niemann was on the PGA Tour. He'd play with Mito. Rahm used to play with Sergio all the time in those events. So like we would have seen a lot of that kind of stuff. Now we're obviously going to be seeing a lot more eclecticness. You might see Corey Connors and like Taylor Pendrith, two Canadians. We're also teammates in college. I think the one thing that's really interesting though is that Trevor Immelman was saying that a lot of the guys on the international side are kind of like commingling a lot. So you're seeing a lot of like Siwoo Kims with Cameron Davis and Adam Scott gets along with literally everybody because it's Adam Scott. Also, the fact that he can't wear tan is probably killing him next week.
That's so funny.
But it's stuff like that. I think the international team really isn't. It's very cut and dry who's going to go where. But the American team is going to be really cool to see who winds up fitting where. Do we have any final thoughts on this before we cut the break?
I do not.
No. All right. One third of the show down in the books. I finally have good audio. We'll be right back here on the Getting the Whole podcast. We're going to break down the Silverado Country Club in just a bit for the Fortinet Championship. It's the Fortnite World Cup at this point. We are back here on Getting the Hole. Steve McAvoy, Ben Pirro, Sophia Warren here with you on the desk. We're here to break down some Fortinet Championship work. First week of the PGA Tour schedule. I made a joke last year that I didn't know what Fortinet was, and I thought it was the Fortnite Championship for a while. So we're gonna kind of stick with that. First of all, though, a little bit of a surprise before we jump into this. College game day this past week, of course, college football is now taking over the world. Scotty Scheffler on game day for Texas and Alabama with Sergio Garcia present was surprised to learn that he won the PGA Tour Player of the Year. Are you buying this?
No, Jinx. No. Like, dude, stop being like so humble. It's not natural.
There is such a thing as too humble,
and it's not natural.
Yeah.
He needs to stop.
Do you think it's like it? Is it one of those like petty humbleness things, or he's just actually like a genuine guy? I think he's like more genuine.
It's like, how about this? It's what he did there. It's like when you go up to somebody and you say, "Oh, dude," like, and they haven't seen in a while, and they're like, "Oh my god, dude, like your hair looks so good," and they're like,
"Yeah,
oh, dude, like no, like my hair looks terrible," like stuff like that. Like
from a girl's perspective, you like put on this brand new outfit, and you're like, "Oh my god, your outfit looks so good," and you're like, "What? This whole thing? I just
exactly."
Like, now, honestly, if you had been in a room with Scotty and he was told he wasn't Player of the Year, he would have been more surprised.
Yeah. My girlfriend knows nothing about golf, and she hears me talking every now and then when she's getting ready for work, and we're watching game day, and she goes, wait, like, why is he surprised about it? She described it the best way. She goes, it's like when your grandma gets you a gift for Christmas, and you go, no, grandma, you shouldn't have. Like, she was going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Or like even vice versa. You give a gift to your grandma, she's like, oh no, you didn't have to do that for me. Like, it's okay. But like, you knew the whole time you were going to do it. Like, it's one of those things. So yeah, stop being humble. Just relax. Ben, we're going to open up the book. We're talking 40 net championship. Let's see it. Open it up.
I actually didn't do anything in my book.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I have changed the segment name to Ben's book for a reason, and you're ruining it.
Ben's digital note.
To be fair,
Ruins the ambiance.
normally, okay, first of all, you were like 80 minutes late today, okay, because you're friggin' we'll have to get the whole logos over those. To be fair, usually on Monday mornings, that's when I prep. Number one, you did not have the stuff ready until like late this morning. Number two, I have taken a little bit of a job at Mike Bender's academy, and I am mowing the range, which takes up my whole morning in exchange for a free academy membership, essentially.
That's funny.
What's so funny about that?
I just think it's funny that like you're mowing the lawn and like you're probably shagging balls.
That's exactly what I'm doing. What's so bad about that?
No. Look, hey, you know what? Look, it's a grind. I've taken 3 jobs, and I'm a salaried employee, so we all got to grind somehow.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
At 5 a.m. this morning.
I was.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Yes. So, are we now going to get like a lack of Ben's book in the future? It's going to be all digital.
If you start getting the itinerary out to me at a reasonable time, Ben's book will still be a thing.
All right, I will start to get it to you then on Sunday night. Anyways, breaking down the Fortnite. Hold on, you know what? I'm changing this right now. The Fortinet is now the Fortnite Championship. There we go. Breaking down the Fortnite Championship. Ben, what do you have for us in terms of what to see at the Silverado Country Club in Napa, California? Aside from the great wine, according to Max Homa, what else can we expect from this golf course, and what are some keys to winning here at Silverado?
Okay, so this is going to be, I have the article pulled up. This is by Adam Stanley from PGAtour.com. The article is titled The First Look, 40-Net Championship. Mm-hmm. Don't listen to Steven. He's wrong.
Fortnite.
And so essentially, this is I thought this was a TPC course. I guess it isn't, but it's at Silverado Resort and Spa. It's on the North Course. It's a little bit of a shorter course, about 7,100 yards. So usually you see about 73, 74, 7,500 yards right around there. So it's a little bit shorter. It's in Northern California, in Napa. And recently, according to the writer of this article, Adam Stanley, about a decade or so ago, Johnny Miller kind of renovated the course. And so I guess brought it back to life. It's very much tree lined. The fairways are very undulating along with the greens. The scoring average is actually, last year is actually very high, I believe. In my opinion, this is high for a PGA Tour event at just a shade over 71 shots. And so it's very much because of the difficulty of the fairways. Anytime you have a course with undulating fairways, they're harder to hit because they're running more. And so the runouts, they tend to run out more towards the sides, or you can get these kind of wonky lies, extreme uphill, downhill lies, or ball above your feet, ball below your feet. That makes it very difficult to hit the ball close. And here in the article, it states how Max Homa, who won last year, relied on, quote unquote, impressive ball striking. He was second in strokes gained tee to green, sixth in strokes gained off the tee, which allowed him to win last year. So all in all, what you're going to be looking for, whoever is, as far as ball striking goes, is hitting the ball well, not just off the tee, but into the green. Because remember, this kind of goes back to, I believe, It was the BMW Championship at that course in Delaware, Wimbledon. Those greens were very undulating as well. And so when you have greens like that, you have to be putting from the right section. And so to do that, you have to be hitting the ball fairly close. It doesn't do you any good if you're hitting 16 out of 18 greens, but your average distance on your first putt is 45 feet. That's not helping anyone. And so I would say look for whoever's swinging it the best, which you will see with my picks. I go very ball striker heavy with my picks. So whoever's striking the ball the best, who's swinging the best this week, that's who has the best chance to win.
Sophia, do you have any insight here?
I didn't look up the course quite as much as Ben did, but I would agree that like a lot of people say drive for show, putt for dough, but honestly, driving accuracy is a very underrated part of the game. If you're hitting more fairways, you're giving yourself likely a shorter club into the green and a much easier shot because the rough can be so penalizing on these PGA Tour courses. That I think if you're looking for who your winner's going to be, you should look in the driving accuracy category, and you'll probably find him in there.
Yeah, I think the ball striking here is really important. The driving historically hasn't been it's been important. However, each of the last 5 winners, so Homa, Stewart Cink, Cameron Champ, Kevin Tway, and Brandon Steele, all were about even in strokes gained off the tee when they had won. So I think the ball striking is going to be crucial here. It might be a putting contest. We've seen a lot of scores in terms of the last 5 years. 19 under, 21 under, 17, 14, 15, 18. So it's been a pretty good mix. So I think we very well will see a lot of lower scores. I'm going to say probably around 18 under is going to win it. It'll also be very tight. So at least towards the back end should see a lot of really good putting. Also, some weather related info. Should be a little wet towards the beginning of the week. There has actually been California has been like significantly like hotter than usual. There's been a lot of like severe drought. There's also like apparently like a mosquito outbreak in California. But apparently there is rain in the forecast set for Thursday. There's also an alleged earthquake set on Friday. So we'll see what happens. Who knows what's going to happen in California?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, well, apparently, so my sister goes to college at Pepperdine, and she said that there was apparently an earthquake today, but she slept through it. So I guess it must have not been like too crazy. This is, however, earthquake season in California, but the weather front actually is coming from, I believe it's Hurricane K, coming up from Mexico. There's apparently a severe like monsoon supposedly coming in. So we'll see how the weather plays out this week. But I do think that towards the back end, the putting is going to be really important. But early on, if there is rain in the forecast, guys are going to be knocking them really close. The ball's going to be sticking really well. So ball striking is going to be absolutely paramount. Let's talk some guys who are in the field this week. Of course, the field isn't going to be as strong as it usually is. I don't think we're ever going to really get a super strong field early on in the year, at least. Hideki Matsuyama is featured, Max Homa, but then like you start getting down on the betting lines, and it's like plus 2,000 for like Denny McCarthy. Like we're not getting very deep here. Who are some people we think will be impact performers, particularly those we might not necessarily know going into this year's PGA Tour calendar?
Okay. I'd rather not, because this is such a thin field. There's not a lot of depth to this field. I'm not going to get too far into this.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say for this is, if you're a fan and you're a betting man or woman, stick to the big names. This is these fall series fall calendar events. Look for big names, players who are veterans who maybe have fallen off in the past. This is a perfect opportunity for those players to kind of maybe get off to a faster start, to kind of jumpstart their year. I don't know, like a Ricky Fowler. Maybe I'll be talking about him. Maybe I won't. Probably will in a couple of minutes.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, definitely foreshadowing. But I would definitely say definitely stick to the bigger names. Anybody that's a well-known player. Yeah.
Sorry,
I would say,
yeah.
I would say Max Homa. I know he's a name that everybody knows, but he has won the tournament in the past. He's a bigger name in the field. I'd put my money on him if I were a betting woman.
Yeah, there aren't many guys who I'm really high on. Again, Homa certainly up there. Heath Thagala, someone to look at, who was a sponsor exemption for a lot of the early fall swing, is now getting his crack for his first time full-time PGA Tour card. Taylor Pendrith comes in plus 2,800. Davis Riley's a name. Like there are some good guys who are in this field. Probably the first 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. First 14 guys you probably know, with the exception of probably Taylor Montgomery. But like looking down the list, there's actually a lot of like names who are super low that I'm really interested in seeing. Thomas Dietrich plus 5,000, someone who has not, who's had a few shots on the DP World Tour, finally gets a shot on the PGA Tour, getting his tour card. Justin Sue, the Corn Ferry Tour #1, plus 5,000 this week, ahead of guys like Trey Mullinax, Cameron Champ, Ches Reavie, Matt Kuchar, and Kevin Streelman. So there are, and also like there's some pretty long names here who are winners from last year. JJ Spawn is currently plus 8,000. You can get Russell Knox at the 6-figure number. Austin Eckroat, someone again who had some experience, has a sponsor exemption, got his tour card this year. He's at plus 10,000 as well. Mark Hubbard, Stuart Sink. Didn't know this, but way down on this list, didn't even realize that he is so low, is Ricky Fowler at plus 12,500. You can get Ricky at, which is a obscene number. Harris English, coming off injury, is apparently healthy. Don't know what his deal is at 15,000. I'm just trying to dig as far as I can here and see what relevant names there are. Wow, this is a really deep list. Oh man. Kyle Westmoreland, our Air Force militant, plus 40,000. Kevin Chappell, that's a pretty good name actually. 31,000. What?
Kevin Chappell.
Chappell, sorry, Chappell.
Oh my gosh.
That's the Chappell. Oh, Harry Higgs is also in the field. Thankfully.
Yeah, he's on a sponsor's exemption.
I know. I'm so sad about him getting the boot. But yeah, so those are some names. Again, I'm sticking to the top guys this week. We'll talk more in the beer money coming up right around, like literally, actually, right now. We're taking a short break. Well, once you come back, we're talking some beer money. We're going to get you the first picks of the 2023 season. Let's get it. All right, folks, it's time. The best segment of the entire week. Beer money time, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Yes, give me that little drum roll here. Brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, Philadelphia's #1 light beer. Grab your Kenny's, kids. Kenny Gainwell scored yesterday for the Eagles. Let's see if we could score some big ones on the beer money slate. Top 20 picks for some beer money. Who do we have at Silverado?
All right. So remember, I said I was going to favor longer hitters and elite ball strikers. So top 20 for me, Gary Woodland. Very good golf swing, can hit all the shots, which is perfect for this type of golf course. He's won in a lot of different styled courses. I definitely believe Gary Woodland, top 20, take it to the bank.
Sophia?
Gary's a good pick. I would second that.
All right, so Gary Woodland for you too. I'm taking Chris Kirk this week. Someone who hits the ball long, puts the ball pretty well, and I think he's on tap for a good turnaround. Chris Kirk's a lot like, in terms of like actual play style, like Keith Mitchell, who I love. I probably took Keith Mitchell like 14 times this past year. So it's kind of nice to start off my year strong with Chris Kirk. Top 10s at the Fortnite.
All right, so for me, I might be lowballing here, but I'm gonna go Max Homa. I know he is the defending champ. I know he's a household name both in the social media world and in the golf world. But to be honest, I feel like that's probably the appropriate dip for a defending champ in a PGA Tour event the following year, especially coming off a very busy year. But his knowledge of the course, his familiarity, his comfort level, that I believe will help him stay in the top 10.
I'm gonna go with Davis Riley. He's been a professional for a few years now. He played at Alabama, but this year, especially starting at the Valspar Championship, I believe it was, he's kind of come into his own a little bit. I believe he was on the team at the same time Justin Thomas was, but I think he's kind of been overshadowed by him, obviously, the past few years. But going back to the Korn Ferry Tour, getting his card, he's had some top finishes this year, and now with a weaker field, I think it's a chance for him to make a move.
I gotta be honest, I was a little weary about a lot of guys who are coming into this week as a sort of a tune-up event to the President's Cup. And I was like, do I take them? Do I not take them? At this point, I just kind of have to go balls to the wall early. I'm going Cameron Davis, someone who, again, fits the profile pretty well here. He won in Detroit, largely off the back of a really good driver, and the putter seems to work at times. He scores in bunches, so it's going to really depend on how the putter works. And if it doesn't, even then, a top 10, I think, is a pretty safe play here. Top 5 selections, kids.
Cameron Champ, take it to the bank. Elite ball striker, elite power. He has won in the western part of the United States. He did win, I believe one of his more recent wins was at the Shriners Hospital for Children. Oh, well, he also did win in Vegas.
That too works.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, West courses kind of fits more of his style of play. Long, great ball striker. He's going to take advantage of this course this week for sure. He'll be in the mix, top 5.
I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama, sticking on the trend of big names being successful this week. And honestly, Hideki hasn't really done a whole lot as of late, but I think it's time for him to turn it around. He turned down that massive live contract. Anything that would give me a confidence boost to be like they wanted to pay, $250 million or more for me. So I think he's due for a good week.
I'm going to throw a really deep, out of the blue name here, and the only reason why I'm doing it is because his driving accuracy is just so good. I think he finished last year on tour. Let me get the number right here. He finished 5th on the PGA Tour, 4th if you remove Abraham Ancer for his defection to live. Ches Reavie finished at 70% in driving accuracy. He was top 55 overall in driving distance. So he kind of lacks the distance to a degree. He finished, what was his average distance here? He finished right behind Cameron Davis at about, oh God, well, where are we at here? Sorry, no, that's approach to the green. He finished at around 298 yards. So it was a little bit like a lot on the back end. But at the same time, though, the accuracy is really good, and his approach game has been pretty solid over the last 8 or 9 weeks when he did manage to play in an event. So I'll go Ches Reavie here for a top 5, pretty deep early on in the year. Before we get into that winning pick, who's that gimme play this week? The guy who will bring you the most money and the instant money.
All right, people are gonna think I'm crazy. Ricky Fowler, top 30. The voice of Butch is back. I'm telling everyone. Look, you can shake your head all you want, but all I know is that you were 20 minutes late. So don't even listen to it. I hope the public doesn't even listen to what you have to say the rest of the show. Okay? Ricky, he's so mad.
I'm currently Googling his odds for a top 30 because honestly, like at this point, you might as well just throw some money on it. Some piece of money.
I truly believe the voice of Butch is a real thing. He's done it numerous times with players. It's worked for a lot of different guys, a lot of different swings, a lot of different personality types as well. Voice of Butch, top 30, Ricky Fowler. Take it to the bank.
I'm going to say top 25, Austin Eckroat, a name that most people probably don't know. I watched the Korn Ferry Tour finals, and while he didn't win, I believe he finished top 5. And he already had his tour card locked up well before the final tournament of the year. He's a PGA Tour U graduate, which means he was one of the top collegiate players in the country. So he knows how to win at every level. I think it's one of his first events on the PGA Tour, so probably going in with some excitement, maybe some low expectations. He seems like a pretty solid player. I don't know much about his stats, but I like his odds.
I'm actively trying to look for the betting odds here because I'm really curious for what top 30 Rich Fowler is. My gimme, I'm going to actually join in on Ben here. I think it's going to be Max Homa for top 10. It's early on in the year. Won't be taking it too seriously. It's going to be one of those President's Cup tune-ups. Yeah, he's won here in the past, but I don't think he's going to try and expel the entire arsenal here to try and win. So I think a top 10 is a safe spot for Max Homa. As I look here, a certain sports book, I'm not going to name names. Oh, almost dropped it. For a top 40 is listing Ricky Fowler at, oh man, this is like deep down here. They're listing Ricky Fowler for, all right, plus 175 for a top 40, which means he'll clear plus 300 for a top 30. And if we really want to get crazy and go top 20, he's plus 500.
Oh,
I actually like, I might throw like a $2 like pizza and beer money. You win, you make $30 kind of thing here. I don't know. That could be a play. What do you think? Top 20 for Ricky Fowler?
I like that.
why not?
You know what? We'll do it, and I'll post it on the socials. All right, who's that winning pick at the 40 net championship? Who is bringing home the first win of the 2023 season?
Hideki Matsuyama. He had kind of a little bit of a down year at times this past year. I don't really think he was his normal self, but he is still regarded as one of the best players in the world. I think this is going to be – I think he's going to – honestly, I think he's going to be – I think it's going 2022, 2023 is going to be a great year for this guy. And I think it starts right now. I think he's on that President's Cup team right now, and he's just sitting there thinking, oh, okay. They don't think we have a chance? Okay. Well, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show everyone in America that they should be very, very nervous. So, yeah, we're going with Hideki Matsuyama. He's going to be rounding into form going into the President's Cup, and I do think this is going to springboard him into another very good year.
I like that pick. I am going with Max Homa. He's a past champion of the event. No, he's a past champion of the event, and I don't agree with Steven that he would want to coast any event. I believe a competitor is a competitor down to the bones, and you want to win every tournament that you play. At least that's how I'd be approaching the week. So I think he's comfortable in California. That's where he's from. He's got the good vibes. He's getting ready for the President's Cup. He's excited. Past champion. He's ready to win.
All right. Winning pick. I've got a lot of names. Just like to kind of give you an idea, I'll probably throw a couple of dollars on a lot of these guys. Webb Simpson, Brandon Steele, Sahith Theegala. But the one guy who I'm going to take for the win, Maverick McNeely, the runner-up from last year. I haven't found a player, honestly, since like Abraham Ancer, then like this year, late in the year, Tony Finau, who can just rack up top 20s like it's nothing. It's kind of crazy. His approach game is easily the best part of his game, and it's absolutely incredible. Like he was, for a time early on this past season, was actually better than JT and Colin in stroke gained approach and proximity to the hole. He finished the year this past year, I believe, top 10 in proximity to the hole. The only problem was his putter wasn't as good as it's been in years past, but we'll have to see what happens. I think Maverick McNeely is going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. If we can start early on and get home a big win this year. Do we think by any stretch of the imagination that there's going to be like a single point given to the international President's Cup team? It's like any shot?
There always ends up being like one crazy match that you never thought would happen. So I say 1 to 2.
Wait.
Not how many points given to the international team. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. But like you said, like Hideki is going to try and prove the Americans wrong and like go off with the competition he's going to have. It's going to come down to matchups, but I really don't know if they'll win any points.
So you're not confident in all the matches that they play that they're not going to win a single point.
All right, let me change that. The only points they'll get is if the match play is halved. That's it.
So you don't have them winning a single.
No.
Really?
A single event? No. They'll have them at the best.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think they'll have probably 3 or 4 matches though.
So for the whole week, for the whole 2-on-2, best ball, whatever, singles, they're not going to win a single match.
No. If you pit me right now, Justin Thomas versus Hideki Matsuyama in a singles, I'm taking GT. The course alone should scream the American side. Every player on the American team has done great things at Quail Hollow, with the exception of Cameron Young, who's played there only once in his career, and Scotty, who's played there twice, but still has a top 10. Like,
no, you do this every show. You have just, it's always at the end too. It's like right as you're like lulling me to sleep, and then you just inject me with like this blood pressure. Like you just sit there and you just love to piss me off because you just say some of the most ridiculous things always come out of your mouth. You don't think that they're going to win a single point via a win in a match?
no.
We're making a bet. Is that allowed?
Actually, I meant to ask this before the show, and I never did. My old host, John, good luck, John. We made a gentleman's agreement that we would have at the end of the year our beer money picks. Whoever amassed the most would dish out a punishment to the loser, and we never actually got around to like figuring it out. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. What do you guys think a punishment should be? We'll announce it next week on the show, but we'll mull this over. That'll be our bet. Will be who can amass the most beer money picks throughout the year, and see what happens. But if we're going to actually place a gentleman's bet, I mean, I'm down for whatever.
I'll bet you $20.
I'm not going to bet any amount of money that happens because
because you're just talking out of your butt. That's what you're.
No. This is more so.
Okay. What do you want to bet? Come on, let's see.
We'll talk about it off air. I don't really know.
Unbelievable! You are unbelievable. I want KB in on this. I cannot believe this. We have to have. We have to get the boss involved now. I cannot believe that.
All right, there he is.
Did you hear out of his mouth?
I heard bits and pieces.
He said that the international team this week is not going to win a single point via a match win for the whole week.
They'll only tie.
They will only tie, which would give them half points.
That's tough.
We have never seen an international President's Cup team this bad ever.
I can low-key see it happen.
Oh my God!
Thank you.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that's like you just by the like graces of like the like quote unquote field. You have to assume they're gonna get at least 1 point, like 1 full point.
No. Like, I'm saying they're not going to amass a single point through a win. So yeah, like they'll finish with like 4 points, but they'll have like 8 halved matches. In which case they'll have.
I'm leaning Ben's brain.
Well, Ben didn't have his book this week, so I think this is karma.
Yeah, because you, being the doofus that you are, didn't send me the itinerary until
I'm a doofus, guys.
this morning.
Remember, we couldn't hear him for about 15 minutes. So
I am a doofus who sent Ben the show notes at 11:15 in the morning.
As I was just finishing up my previous job on a Monday morning. So
all right, I wrote 3 articles today and wrote you the show notes in about 3 hours while working from home doing my day job. I don't want to hear it. Mr. I play golf for a living.
Stud. I wish.
I wish.
KB, you just get me. You just get me.
He's built different.
And you're built different too.
That's all I need to hear, baby.
This bromance is too much.
You wish. You're built.
Final thing before we go, we didn't talk about it in the beginning. Applications have opened for next year's Barstool Classic. Ben, I think we're joining it. What do we think?
Bro, okay, first of all, how much is it?
I have no idea, but it's a 2-man scramble.
You about to go toe-to-toe with Daniel Rappaport and Riggs?
I can so take Dan Rappaport. That guy's a bitch. I guarantee you he is. I can take him.
Well, we know who's never coming on this show now.
No, I'm totally kidding. No, I think I'm pretty sure he's like a 6 handicap. So he would blow me out of the water.
He had some fresh kicks on social media today that he was wearing when he was out on the course.
Yeah, but Steven, you'd get strokes though.
What?
You would get strokes, right? Oh no, maybe not because it's scramble.
It's scramble. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think we would. You better
Start grinding.
You better start listening to more of that hypnosis meditation stuff.
See, me personally, I wouldn't get strokes. I'd have heart attacks, but that's just me.
Well, hold on, wait.
Steven would give me a heart attack. I'm like, dude, where'd you?
All right, here, hold on. I have an alternate idea that I'll propose to Sophia. We talked about it last week. How I want to get us on the LPGA ShopRite Classic Pro-Am, and it would be the 3 of us and an LPGA Pro. I think the 4 of us in a celebrity like Pro-Am scramble event would be so good. Like us 3 and like Lefty Thompson. Let's just say.
Well, yeah, because we would have to drag you around the golf course.
I'm there to have fun,
dude. Okay, look.
Steven, I think you should practice for like a long, long time, and then talk about it with Ben. I think then you can make a better case. If he can
Sophia, you are insulting me right now.
No. I'm sorry to cut you off, sweetheart.
That was the most like passive aggressive. Like you should practice for a long, long time.
And I'm here for it.
Well, here's the thing.
Just maybe.
No. No. Let me finish. You entered the show by saying, I haven't touched the club in like a month and a half. Hey, Ben, let's play the Barstool Classic and enter with all this money.
I've been busy.
What?
I've been so busy with like life stuff that I haven't been able to help.
He's out here like the magician from Frosty the Snowman. I've got to get busy.
I shouldn't say I haven't been practicing. I have at least been like putting. I just haven't swung the club, like with a ball there.
So you've gone mini golfing.
No, like I have a putting mat in my room in my apartment that I've been putting.
That's not the same thing. We talked about that today because it was supposed to rain today. We had to get all of the practice in. We were like, thank God, because putting on the carpet doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean it isn't great, but like it's something.
Well,
all right. On that note, we should definitely get this boy. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!